How's everybody doing today? It is I once again, Mr. Cinema Junkie, and I have a pile of movies in front of me. This is Stack Attack Part 2. These are all titles that I've added to my ever-growing collection, and they were sitting around unwatched for a little bit, so I decided, let me start knocking these out in piles. So the plan is there to knock them out in about a week. I have it all scheduled out and everything, but damn it if I can't stick to a schedule. So I wind up watching maybe 2 or 3 a day, and then it's 2 weeks long and stuff. This particular stack of movies took me about 8 days. Could have done it in less time if I wouldn't have been so distracted. I'm guilty of checking my phone a lot. So yeah, that's kind of the problem there. Pausing, stopping, answering messages. Oh, what's new on Facebook? Just I gotta leave the phone alone when I'm doing this. So I have here 28 titles of first-time watches for me. A lot of these were blind buys. At least one was a gift, but I had never seen any of them. I've heard very little about most of them. Some I haven't heard anything at all about them, except a yay or a nay maybe, but for the most part they're blind buys, and one gift. But yeah, it's 28, yeah, I believe it's 28 titles. So let's get through this, because the first Stack Attack video took almost an hour to do, and I don't want to take up anybody's precious time for that long. So we're sitting at about 1 minute, 2 minutes right now. And let's do this. I'm saving these two for very last for some reason. But first off, I Spit on Your Grave 3, Vengeance is Mine. This stars the girl from the first I Spit on Your Grave, the remake, not the original, of course. I got drawn into this one because I saw some pretty sweet violence coming out of it, and that part didn't disappoint. What did disappoint was that this girl was the victim of a group rape, and then she carried out all these really horrible revenge deals. And but in this one, she seems a little lost. Like, I don't know, she just like the concept of revenge and violence is just like not really jiving with her. That's the feeling I got from this movie. And she had to meet someone from a rape crisis group who shows her the ropes on how to stand up for yourself and not be a victim anymore. And I think she had that down in the first part, don't you? But yeah, she it kind of like drifts between reality and what's going on in her head, kind of thing, which it's okay in bits and pieces, but sometimes it can be a little overdone. So overall, I liked it, but I was like this much disappointed. But I'd give it, I'd say about a 7 out of 5. I mean, 7 out of 5. Yeah, 7 out of 5, sure. Let's give it 5 and then 2 more. 7 out of 10 is what I'd give that. Nah, you know what? 6 out of 10. Sorry. Gotta go with the, can't be making allowances here, man. Okay, gotta get a little quicker on these. Someone's knocking at the door. The most depraved film of the 21st century? Yeah, it depends on what you call depraved. Was it good? Yeah, it was really good. Very bizarre. Very, very strange movie. Just to give you a taste of how strange it is, there's a guy with a huge dick. I mean, this thing's the size of a newborn baby. I mean, pretty big. And he rapes people to death. Okay? It's not throughout the whole movie. That's not the whole premise of the movie. But one of the characters is a rapist who rapes people to death. Based on the gore and the bizarre storyline and the just the overall strangeness of it, I'd give this one an 8 out of 10. Excess Flesh. Now, when I read about this one, right away I thought single white female. There's two girls that live together, and the other one becomes jealous of the other, and binds her. And the one's like I guess a model, and the other roommate she's portly. She's not obese, but she's a little thicker than this other girl, and she's always being like picked on by her roommate and made to feel like shit. And she finally says, you know what? I think I like your life better than mine. Let's just chain you right the hell up, and puts her in some bindings, and she starts losing her mind little by little. And it was overall it was a good movie. I mean, it was the only thing for me personally, and this may not set anybody else off. For me personally, it's purposely done to set up the whole deal that's going on. But there are a lot of scenes where people are just eating way too noisily, way too just like that, and they're trying, and because she's seeing them eat, and it's like really exaggerated. That was getting on my nerves a bit. I had to mute the stupid movie a few times, but not. I don't mean to call it stupid. It was a good movie, really. That kind of thing doesn't bug you at all. You're in for a treat. Give this one 7 out of 10. Yes, Salatursica. This is a little treat from Toe Tag. The lovely, her brain just escaped me just that fast. Camille Keaton from the very original I Spit on Your Grave. She's in it and looking very nice. She's aging quite nicely. This movie reminded me a little bit of what was that one called? Tom Savini did the special effects. Guy comes back from war, but he's he has issues. This guy kind of same thing. Came back from war with a problem, a big problem, and to say what the problem is would be to give away the storyline. I mean, to give away the movie, but it has some good gore, good effects. Storyline wasn't hard to follow. It was, I'd say, a pretty solid movie. Fred Vogel did a great job, and I think, like I said, the gore effects were really, really good. I'd say my only thing that I would zing this one for is the audio. There were some audio mixing deals that were like this guy broke through a door instead of just crashing. It sounded like he broke through a pack of crackers. It was kind of, that's it. Then you can tell like there's sometimes where the audio is off. There's like they didn't mix the screaming with what was going on. So like some sounds that should be there weren't there. But that's like way technical. That's getting way technical. And overall, I did like it. Thought it was an interesting flick. It's a kind of a slow burn. It builds up, and then at the end it just goes boom, and it goes boom in a big way. So I'll give that one a generous, not generous, but an honest 7 out of 10. I'm gonna mess this name up. Femme de Mort. This one was really odd, man. I mean, like a lot of like just bizarre imagery. It's a trilogy, and the whole thing overall is like, I think it was like 35, 45 minutes. It wasn't very long at all, really. Each movie is like a short, but it has some really cool scenery, has some really cool imagery. The gore effects were pretty badass. The storyline is odd, but well worth a watch. Just based on the overall, like, I guess the effects and the very odd and sometimes humorous It got a few laughs out of me. I give this one an 8 out of 10. The Living and the Dead. Man, this movie was a trip. Uh, this guy, he has some kind of issue. I don't want to just generalize and say he's special needs, but he does have a little bit of a problem. The dad, there's a part where I guess the dad's on the phone and the kid's like, "Oh, I want to talk to him." I said, "No, they don't want to talk to you." I said, "But I like people." I said, "But they don't like you." Or he'll say like, "I want to be normal for once." He goes, "But you're not normal." His dad kind of firms him up on a few things. But basically, the son, who has issues, wants to watch after his mother in his dad's absence. And the dad's like, "No, there's a nurse coming for that. The mom's sick." And it spins way out of control. He's trying to force feed her like her medication, like lots of her medication instead of like 2 pills. They'll say the more you take, the faster you'll get better. And she's like, "It doesn't work that way." And he's like, "No, yeah, it does. Come on, eat them, damn it." And he's like shoving them down her throat, and he doesn't come to check on her in time, and she shits the bed. And then he like makes her get undressed so he can change her, and she's like, "I don't want you to see me like this," and it just gets real bizarre. And some of the shots in there are filmed kind of like a psychotic Benny Hill episode. It's fast motion, weird music, and then it really goes into Tripsville towards the end. I really really dug this movie. I give this a 9 out of 10. Julia! Rape revenge flick. How can you go wrong with a rape revenge flick? Well, let me tell you. You know what? Overall, I liked it, but man, the story was kind of flip flopped a little bit for me anyway. You got a girl who's like tag team raped by a group of guys. They give her a little shot of succinylcholine. Anybody remember that stuff? Yeah, from Exorcist 3. It paralyzes the body but keeps you fully aware. So she couldn't move or fight or anything. And after that traumatic experience, I think she goes to a rape crisis deal, and this girl hips her to a group, and they tell her that they can help her get her revenge, but she's never allowed to act on her own, and she has to do what they say, and then they form a bond, and it's like, I like my rape revenge flicks to be ABC. You rape her, she gets pissed, she comes for revenge, that's your ass, you did wrong, she's gonna deal with you now. This one kind of was like teetering between like what she can and can't do and what they allow her to do. Um, and then towards the end it became like this whole other like big confessional for the leader of the group. He starts like spilling his dirty laundry all over the place, and I was kind of like, oh, this wasn't what I had hoped it would be, but it wasn't as bad as some people told me it was going to be. Some people told me it was out and out garbage, and I disagree. It wasn't that terrible, but wasn't that great either. Um, I give it a very fair 6 out of 10. Ooh, and there goes the stack. Technical difficulties. La Petite Mort 2. Second part to La Petite Mort, in case you didn't understand that part. The first one kind of dealt with a specialty bar where you can go and pay to live out your wildest fantasies. This one is shot more in a form of made to order videos or live streaming kind of thing. That's because the menu keeps popping up and telling you who's the victim and who they are, their stats, and how much they cost, and all that other stuff. And then you see them get down and dirty. Bottom line, I dug it. Had kind of a mix between like the den slash hostel kind of feel to me. Special effects were taken on by the Nicholsons, Ryan and Megan. And Ryan Nicholson makes a little appearance in here, which I thought was pretty cool. He's actually one of the people who pay to kill someone, and he plays the very plays a very cool, laid back kind of like, yeah, and then I paid to kill him, and then they gave me a beer, and it's a German beer. German beer is the best. And he's just very laid back about it, and he pulled that off really well. Way to go, Ryan. And congratulations to Ryan and Megan for the excellent effects work. And there's some other appearances. You got Yui Wall, who comes out in this as well. Liked it a lot. I really did. Give this one an 8 out of 10. On Bloody Sunday, unrated. Boy, didn't that just bring up all sorts of images in your head? It did to me. I bought this one when I was still living in Chicago. This was still in plastic up until I watched it just, a couple weeks ago. I ordered it after watching Megan is Missing. So I was on that, that mindset. And when I read the description of this, I'm like, hell yeah, let's get this. Well, it's a little different. Actually, it's a lot different. It was okay. These people are like chasing down the story of a murder that took place. I guess an urban legend, but then they mix in like underground fight clubs, and Danny Trejo makes an appearance. I don't know what they paid him to be in this for the little time that he was in there, but maybe he just wanted to buy some birthday presents or something. I don't know. It has like the whole cult thing going on. It has, I wish I could be a little more specific on the description on this one. There were just parts of it that just made me have to I just had to really rewind and rewatch, because it was like, I don't want to give away the end of the movie. Was it good? It was watchable, and under the right set of circumstances, I would probably watch it again. And those circumstances would be somebody would have to come by and say, hey, that looks good, can we watch that? And I'd be like, yeah, sure, why not? But honestly, I have to give this one a 6 out of 10. Dream Home. Do I need to say any more? This movie, it was just superb. This girl wants to buy a flat, and when you hear about it in Hong Kong money, man, it sounds expensive. And then I did the conversion to American money, and it's still expensive. So she's trying to get this, even though she doesn't make that much money, she doesn't have that much cash, and she does very extreme things to make sure she can get it. And some of those things involve murder, very gruesome murders. Very well executed gruesome murders. The party scene was my favorite. Just an overall great watch. I watched it twice, actually. After I finished the whole pile, I put it in again and watched it again. Dream Home. Excellent movie. I was going to go 9-10 out of this, but no. 10-10. Gotta give it a 10. The final installment of the August Underground trilogy under its August Underground penance. Another toe tag offering. Fred Vogel does what Fred Vogel does best. That snuff film feel of the other two movies, with a little real, some animal violence thrown in. They're feeding us an alligator. You gotta feed them. What do you want to do? Starve them to death? But they throw that in there, and it gives it that little authentic feel of cruelty and and mayhem. And overall, I dug it. The effects, it's toe tag, man. What do you want? So yeah, this one, 8 out of 10. Another first time watch for me, Adam Chaplin. Been hearing about this one for years. I finally, I watched it a while back. I cheated a little bit here, guys. This one I did see a while back, but it was a terrible, horrible, choppy bootleg copy, and I'm ashamed that I did it. But I have a legit copy now. Here it is, and just crazy, over the top imagery and gore and like Tater City times 10, in my opinion. I really liked it. I thought it was just incredible. Just a lot of fun. Loads of fun. Definitely something I can watch again. Solid 8 out of 10. Torso. I was asked to share my opinion on this movie, and here it is. I liked it. It's a little dated. Okay, you can tell it's an older flick, but that didn't stop them from bringing in, the gore and stuff like that. It's a giallo. I really liked it. I dug it. It was cool. Giallos aren't really my thing, but I have seen a couple of them that were okay. They grabbed me. This one is not an exception. I thought it was pretty cool. Sexual predator cuts up girls. What more could you want, right? Yeah, I give this one a very fair 7 out of 10. Wither. Now this has been called a kind of a remake of Evil Dead, and I can see why. And it's probably officially, like, they probably came out and said, yeah, we made a little remake of Evil Dead. Forgot what country this is from. Oh, Sweden. It says here Sweden. Swedish version of Evil Dead, Wither. But I gotta tell you, in my opinion, the movie stands on its own. It doesn't have to be compared to another movie to justify anything that it does or anything that they bring to the screen. I thought it was pretty cool. You got your possessions and your whole spirit jumps from body to body and all that, and there's some pretty decent gore in it, and overall, I liked it. I definitely liked it. Glad I bought it. It's from Artsploitation Films. I'm really liking their library, and I will give this one an 8 out of 10. That pile's about to fall over. Seventh Day. All about a serial killer. Serial killer named Alan. And this just basically shows you what goes through his head and his mind and things that he sees and things that inspire him to do what he does. I dug it. I liked it. Glad I bought it. I had some decent gore in it. Decent storyline. 7 out of 10. Ironically, Seventh Day, 7 points. This is another one where I'm going to butcher the title. I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time, and they said it like 17 times in the movie, and I don't remember how they pronounced it. I kept pronouncing it Pixote, or Pixoti, and it's like Peugeot, something like that. But it's shot in Brazil, and it's a juvie violence movie. Most of it takes place inside of a juvenile hall where there's a very vicious prison rape scene, and at some point they find a way to get out of there, and a few of them band together, 3 of them band together to go out, four of them to go out and make their own way in the world, and they run into all sorts of shady characters and drug dealers, and they, life just makes them hard and cruel. And it touches on the subject of children who are being killed by the system in Brazil at the hands of the police. And ironically, this guy right here, the star of the movie, he's the one who plays the title character. I think it was at the age of 19 he was killed while in with the police. So the police had him in their station, I guess, and they killed him, or he was killed by them, according to the stories. But it's got some very, like, some imagery there. It's kind of, some people might have a problem with, like he's breastfeeding with this older woman, like he wants to be mothered, and she had just had an abortion, and she bonds with him a little bit. Then she starts feeling weird about it. She tells him to get away from her. She can tell his need for a mother or a parent. Overall, I really dug it. 9 out of 10. I Stand Alone, Gaspar Noé. If you've seen the movie Irreversible, in the beginning, or shall I say the end of the movie, because it's shot in reverse, there's a guy in an apartment talking about how he did time because he slept with his daughter. That's this guy right here. This was a crazy movie, man, and very kind of moody, I guess would be a good word for it. Moody, depressing, dark, but it told a story, and it was a solid one. This one gets an 8 out of 10 for me, just because of the bold moves that it took. American Backwoods, Slough, Hampshire. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, it was good. I mean, it was cool. Dealt with some people out on a road trip to go to a strip club. They wind up going to another place. Instead, they get guided to another place where there's a bunch of guys who hunt other guys and have sex with them. Kind of like Deliverance to the fifth power. Yeah. And then there's like this group of Vikings. I mean, they lived the Viking life for all their lives, and they're vicious and barbaric. And boy, do those two stories jive in a very weird way. I dug it to an extent. Sometimes it was kind of like, what's going on? But overall, yeah, not one of those purchases I'm sorry I got. Would I ever part with this film? I might, if somebody wanted to trade or something, and it was something that I wanted to see. But overall, yeah, I liked it. I think it was okay. Give it a 7 out of 10. To Jennifer, this movie boasts being shot on a iPhone 5. The entire movie is shot on an iPhone 5. There's a guy whose girlfriend is cheating on him, and he wants to go catch her in the act. So he incorporates the help of his cousin to go on a little road trip to find her and catch her in the act, and then present the video to her. But it winds up being a very strange road trip. I got a little confused as to how far of a distance he was from this girl, because it seemed like where he was where he lived, and this girl was way in another place where they had to fly. They flew to wherever they were going. So I don't know if the girl was on vacation or what the hell. It has a neat, although somewhat predictable twist. my only real issue with this movie was there were some plot points that didn't make a lot of sense. For example, this guy's friend, his cousin's friend, is driving them to where they need to go, and then he decides he doesn't want to go anymore, and he's not going to go. So the other guy goes out to talk to him. One thing leads to another. He says, "Hey man," he said he's going to catch a bus back or a cab back. He let us use the car. Here's the keys, and they start driving off. And I'm thinking about it now. I really shouldn't even be saying this because it gives away stuff. Let me just say that some of the plot points don't make any sense, and not so much the plot points, but the reactions to those plot points. Like, there's certain situations like that call for immediate action, and immediate action isn't taken, and it seems a little unrealistic. Okay, it's some of these movies, these found footage and shaky cam and documentary type movies only work if reactions are believable. Some of these reactions were a little unbelievable. So that's all I have to say about that, because I'm gonna run this thing right into the hour mode. I'm already at what, 30 minutes. So thank you. I'm gonna go midway on this one, 5 out of 10. I appreciate the effort, but like I said, some of it was just kind of like, eh. Reichsfuhrer SS. This is a movie kind of based, as far as characters involved. Heinrich Himmler, the one of Adolf Hitler's boys. But in this one, he is going to hell. And I don't know what to say, really, man. I mean, it was cool. It was good. This guy here was the one that's walking him through his life and telling him all the things he did. But there were just little things, little nitpicky shit, really. Like when he says, "I'm going to my cabin in the woods." Well, he's in World War II Germany. You picture the house that he's going to, the cabin that he's going to, isn't going to have lit banners with the SS on it, kind of advertising, or maybe it would. Maybe it would have a little Hitler flag or a little Nazi flag or something. But this one looked like banners on the outside of a museum, like, "Come see the new SS exhibit." Also, I don't think they were using aluminum storm doors or storm windows on cabins in World War II Germany. I don't think they were. I could be wrong. And usually, when you pull off a German character or German characters by non-German type peoples, you at least try to throw an accent in there. These guys sounded like a bunch of suburbanites at a golf club. Heil Hitler, just very vanilla in their accents. So, but it had its winning moments. It had its winning moments, to where I was kind of like, oh, okay, cool. So, yeah, I give it a 6 out of 10. Undocumented. Little story about a group of Minutemen type guys who are guarding the borders against people who would cross illegally. It is brutal. It is not nice at all. It's an IFC Midnight release, and Peter Stormare did an excellent job in it. When I first heard about this, I saw some clips of it. Never watched the whole movie all the way through, but there were some clips of it. And you basically figure, okay, it's a bunch of hicks with rifles who are guarding the border, and they're doing the whole redneck thing, talking about keeping up them illegals. But watching it all the way through, there's a scene where they're giving a guy an impromptu citizenship test, for the life of his wife. Um, and one of the girls protesting he doesn't know this information. He doesn't speak English. You can't do this. And Peter Stormare, who's the leader of the group, comes up and says, "When I studied for my citizenship test, I studied long and hard." So right there is saying he's not a citizen of the United, not a natural-born citizen of the United States. He became a citizen, went through proper channels, and in that I find a little bit of genius in the storytelling, because it's not doing the whole white power movement and keeping out all the illegals. It's you want to be in this country, go through proper channels is what they're saying. It's like they were saying we have no problem with who comes over this country. It's how they get over here. But it's still very, very racial and brutal. But overall, I seriously dug this movie. I give it a very fair 8 out of 10. Meat Grinder. I've been wanting a copy of this for a long time. Yes, sir. Basically, can't say much without really giving away anything, so I'll just leave it at this. She makes damn good soup and noodles and uses human flesh. There you have it. There's more to the story than that, though, so please watch it. It had some really nice twists and turns here and there. I thought it was an excellent movie. This also gets an 8 out of 10. Crossbearer. It's about a self-righteous lunatic who goes out and spreads the word of God by killing people who are sinners, thereby becoming a sinner himself. So, yeah, what do you want? But I really liked the storyline on this one. I liked what it offered. Thought it was pretty damn cool, actually. I give this one 7 out of 10. Acid Bath. Brought to you by Wild Eye Releasing. And this one was just a gaggle of fun. It reminded me a little bit of like a Sleazebox title. Has the sex, has the gore. This is meat and potatoes, people. Very simply put, meat and potatoes. And some of the scenes were kind of Troma-esque in that, like, they had some dogs chasing these guys off the property, but they weren't like your typical like pit bulls or bull mastiff type dogs. They were like scraggly little cockapoos and stuff like that. Just any dog to chase them, things like that. It was done definitely on a budget, but it was done well. It was okay. Give it a 7 out of 10. Footsteps. Sorry. Says extraordinary best British film of the year. This one delivered some goods to it. It had like that snuff film theme to it. Yeah, guy would make snuff films and stuff, but it was a little different. It wasn't like your average snuff film type thing. But overall, it was cool. I liked it. Gets a 7 out of 10. American Descent. Speaking of snuff films, the daughters of a high-ranking military official get a DVD in the mail, and they think it's from their dad, who's who's gone, who's you know putting in his time, and it has a girl tied to a tree, and she's being tortured and hurt and stuff, and then they decide to try and track down who sent it after they find out their dad wasn't the one who sent it. It didn't come from him. So they find clues that lead them to another deal, a hard drive, so on and so forth, and it all culminates into this little ball of fire that's just, it was pretty satisfying to me anyway, and I give this one 8 out of 10. Flowers, the movie that took me 4 times before I finished it. Like I said earlier, I am guilty of checking my phone when I shouldn't, or having my phone on, and I see a message, oh, let me see, pause, and then, or I don't pause, and the movie plays on, and I look up, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? I'm lost, completely lost. This movie works on the premise of no dialogue. There's no dialogue in it, and it's very experimental, I'd have to say. Damn near, I want to say art house, but not really. No, it's got some brutality to it. I mean, super gory scenes and stuff, but the gross out factor on this one was good, and the gore scenes were good. Like I said, no dialogue. Basically deals with the story of girls who are trying to cross over, I guess. That's where it was losing me, because every time I would see a scene, I'd watch a scene up to a certain point, and there's this girl, I'd look away at my phone, I'd look up, the scene was carrying on, but it was a different girl. And I'm like, what happened to the other girl? And that happened to me twice, and I was like, oh man, I gotta watch this over again. I do it, and then of course I play with the phone again. Finally, I watched it because I turned my phone off and refused to touch it till I was through with this. Gotta say, I liked it a lot. 8 out of 10. And we're making good time, 42 minutes. The last one, this is The Gift. And this is another one I'd heard plenty about. I've never seen it before. It was my first time watching it, and I feel dirty. No, it was an enjoyable watch, very entertaining. The Sinful Dwarf. Yes, The Sinful Dwarf. It says the XXX version, but there's maybe like 1.5, maybe 2 scenes of very explicit sex that would qualify it to be like porno level sex scenes, but it is an exploitation film before it is a porno film. You got your sinful dwarf and his mother. He lures girls to his to their apartment building, and then drug them up and use them to make money. There were some scenes in there that made me laugh, and there were some scenes in there that made me go, well, damn. But nothing was ever that over the top for me, of course. Your average film goer might be a little appalled by some of this, but I dug it, man. I really did. The guy in there was, he was really super sleazy. He played that role very well, almost too well. Like he was a natural at it. It starts with him with a little toy dog, and this girl comes. She's playing like hopscotch, and he shows her the dog, and she's petting it and stuff. He says he gets her to follow him home, and that was where I was a little like, because you could tell she's not a little girl. She's an adult, but I don't know if they were trying to make her seem like a simple little girl who gets taken in by toys, or was she an adult but kind of like not all there, like challenged. And he gets her to the house, and he goes, I have more toys upstairs. And it's just like this real, this sleazy voice that he does, very slimy and grimy. But yes, I liked it. Probably watch it again this coming weekend. It was that much fun. I give The Simple Dwarf an 8 out of 10. And that is that, everybody. Sorry if some of my descriptions were a little loose. It has been a couple of weeks since I've watched some of these movies, and I've been watching other ones since then, so sometimes the storylines get a little melded into my old man brain. Do you hear the dog barking? I hit the door, and she thinks someone's knocking at the door, so now she won't shut up. I had her locked in the bathroom because she wouldn't shut up before. Look what I've done. So anyways, that's it for now, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for sticking around. And at 45 minutes and some change, I'm going to call this one over. You guys take care, and I will see you again real soon with Stack Attack number 3 coming soon.